Welcome to Compassionate World Radio with Barbara Wilder on Power Me Up Radio Talk 24/7, the station with heart on iHeart. Hello, I'm so excited to have my show on Power Me Up Radio Talk 24/7 because compassion is the new power engine to create radical change in your life and in the world. It's evolutionary. And compassion with ourselves and all our flaws is where we have to start. Because when we have compassion for ourselves, it shines out of us to everyone and everything around us. And we each have our own path, our own personal journey to finding compassion for ourselves. Today, I'm going to be talking with my friend Krimah Reignmaker Stewart about her personal journey to compassion, as well as her compassionate work in the world. So first, let me tell you a little bit about Krimah. Krimah Reignmaker Stewart, and we're going to talk about how she spells that. It's R-E-I-G-N, but we'll talk about that later, is the owner of the Reignmaker Group, a coaching, training, and transformational retreat company that serves spirit-driven women who desire to reclaim their power and elevate their self-love so they can flourish in their life, love, and business relationships. Previously, Krimah worked at the Boeing Company as a leadership development trainer. Krimah embraces a holistic approach to amplifying the relationship you experience with others at home and at work by tapping into the practical, spiritual, emotional, mental, and psychological aspects of personal leadership and accountability. She holds a BA in theater arts from UCLA and conducted postgraduate studies in acting at the Institute for Advanced Theater Training at Harvard University and the Moscow Art Theater School of Russia. She also holds an MS in organizational development. Welcome, welcome, my dear friend Krimah.
Thank you, Barbara. Appreciate the welcome and the introduction.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you here and see you.
Yes, thank you. Likewise.
You know, when I start, I'd like to start the show with a little meditation, a little breathing exercise. Would you care to join me?
Absolutely. I love me a good breathing exercise.
Okay. So listeners, please join us. And if you're driving, don't close your eyes. So.
Don't do that.
So let your eyes fall gently shut. Let all the breath out. And take a deep, gentle breath into your lungs and hold the breath. And just hold it gently, hold it, and gently let it go. And now take another gentle deep breath and breathe up into your brain and hold it. Just hold it, and release. And one more gentle deep breath, and this time breathe into your heart. And as you hold that breath in your heart, just hold it, and just let it go. And now just relax back into your normal breathing, becoming aware of the rhythm of your breath. And becoming aware also of your heartbeat. And you can even put your hands on your heart or on your pulse and just be aware of your heartbeat. And now, just think the thought of the heartbeat of Mother Earth. And just by thinking that thought, your heart comes into rhythm with the heartbeat of Mother Earth. You may even get an experience of this. And now, my heart is beating in rhythm with Mother Earth. Krimah's heart is beating in rhythm with Mother Earth. And all of your hearts are beating in rhythm with Mother Earth. So all of our hearts are beating in rhythm together. as we sit together in this circle of friendship and compassion, no matter where we are, scattered all around the world, our hearts beating together. And now just take another gentle breath in and let it out. And slowly open your eyes whenever you're ready. And have a little drink of water if you happen to have it. Because after every meditation, it's very important to drink water because we have lifted the vibration within our bodies, and then it takes that lifted vibration because we're watery creatures, right? We are made 95% water. It carries it all that higher vibration throughout our whole bodies. Mm. So now, Krimah, to begin, I'd like to know how you came up with your middle name, which is also the name of your company. As I said, Reignmaker is spelled R-E-G-N. So please share that with us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's not the middle name my parents gave me, but it's the middle name I gave me. And I spell Reignmaker R-E-I-G-N-M-A-K-E-R because if you're familiar with the traditional name of Reignmaker, it really comes from the First Peoples Native American tradition. And then it got kind of, I guess, pulled into a different arena, and it relates to people who can make it rain inside of an organization. So if you are a R-A-I-N-M-A-K-E-R Reignmaker inside of a company or inside of a business platform, it means that you are the individual in that platform where you are probably making the most amount of money. You're a high influencer. People are coming to you. You're highly networked, and it always results in a cha-ching. Okay. And so when I was living in New Mexico years ago, I learned about that version of the Reignmaker because I was very interested in money psychology and money mindset and relationship with money. Hence, I came to read Money is Love. And so I was thinking, I see a Reignmaker as being powerful in every area of their life, not just being able to call in money and call in cha-chings. And so I changed it to R-E-I-G-N because I believe that when we are fully walking in our personal power, we take full authority, dominion, and full reign of every area of our lives. And that produces massive wealth, massive abundance in every area, not just in the area of money. So that's how I came to the Reignmaker.
Oh, that's a great story. And I don't think our listeners even know that I wrote a book called Money is Love. I haven't talked about that.
You haven't? Oh,
on our show. It's just so funny.
Oh, yeah. That's got to get out there. That book is amazing. Like, you must tell them about Money is Love.
Thank you for bringing it up. And that's, of course, how we connected. So
yes.
It's a wonderful thing. And now you've been doing all this incredible work with women and this beautiful work with money as well. Real familiar with. And we both have so much in common in our work with money and women. But now I thought that's what we would be talking about today. And yet you're focusing in a new direction right now that I find very, very exciting. And you've shared with me that you're working with the divine masculine. And we've always been talking about the divine feminine, but the divine masculine, of course, we must have the divine masculine. So please tell us what that divine masculine means to you and how you came to this.
Well, it's just that I have my own coaches and my own mentors, and in that work, there's a lot of talk about, feminine and walking in the feminine and feminine essence and divine feminine. And in one of my containers with one of my mentors, there is an emphasis on the divine masculine. And I started to think about how much I was hearing about the divine feminine, but not as much around the divine masculine. And so I started to play because I'm also in the process of magnetizing and drawing in my divine masculine partner. And so, which I think I've done as of April. So
So wonderful.
yes, 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 yes. And it really, things really shifted for me last year when I continued to look at where am I holding, as one of my mentors would say, where am I holding contempt for the masculine?
Ah,
And it could just be in different memes I might share, or jokes jokes about men that I might like on someone's post, or like making fun of, the differences between men and women. Or where do I not trust the masculine? And so it really got me thinking about, how can I do away with the stories that have been encoded in me growing up in these United States of America? What are the messages the society have been sending me? And it's very similar to the money conversation, right? But I just applied it
right.
to men, right?
Mhm.
And so I think it was last August, I think I started to really take time each night and think about, where did the divine masculine show up for me today? And that the divine masculine is the all that is, in the spirit realm, the what I call gods, what some others call source. There is a energy that is housed. There is an energy of the divine masculine that is housed inside the energy and the force that we call God. And God also houses the divine feminine energy as well. So I wanted to particularly hone in on specifically the divine masculine energy of what I call God.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Right. And so I started to really take time and get really conscious and really clear. How is the divine masculine showing up for me through men? How is the divine masculine showing up through, leading me, guiding me, protecting me? So for example, just for the listeners to get an idea, I was driving along one of the streets near my house, and someone was about to run a stop sign, and they would have T-boned me. And then all of a sudden they stopped. And so at the end of the day, when I reflected, I was like, oh, thank you, divine masculine God, for your protection.
Uh-huh.
That was masculine protection, right? Or if I'm asking a question around something and I need guidance, I was tapping into the divine masculine guidance to guide me, right? Or lead me. And so I just really started to develop this appreciation for the masculine on earth, and then also the divine masculine of the spirit realm. And for another example, at the end of the day, I might say, oh, yes, that lovely young man that helped me with my groceries, or that lovely young man that held the door for me, or it could have been an older gentleman, whatever, that gentleman who held the door open for me. And rather seeing those as signs of they don't think I'm capable, I saw them as signs of, let me serve you. Let me support you. You are always supported. You are always loved. You can trust the masculine, because it's difficult to draw in. Go ahead.
That you can trust the masculine.
Trust the masculine.
Huge. That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
It's so big.
Yeah.
And it's trusting the divine masculine, because it's not necessarily true about the earthly masculine.
Yeah. Because the divine masculine is showing up in the earthly masculine.
Exactly.
Even when they even when our earthly men aren't like maybe showing up in the way that is of their highest representation of the divine masculine, there's still the divine masculine inside of them. And it's also, what are we choosing to hold on to, and what are we choosing to focus on, right?
Yes.
And what are we choosing to see? And how are we respecting the masculine? And respecting, means again, spect means to see, like spectacles, like glasses.
Mhm.
So respect at the basic fundamental meaning means to see again. So how can we see again the masculine, the divine masculine in the men that are walking the earth?
That is beautiful. And I think one of the things I loved you talking about when we chatted earlier was mining the masculine.
Just call me a 49er, honey, because I'm looking for the gold.
Right.
I am a 49er because I am looking for the gold in the masculine.
That is great. I love that.
Yes, because like if I'm looking for the greatness in him, in them, not just the one that I'm in relationship with, not just the one who's romantically interested in me, but every, male soul that's walking the face of the earth, what can I see? How can I become curious? How can I enhance my sense of wonder and amazement at these beautiful beings that are walking the earth? That's much more attractive energy than the contempt that I might have, or that I was holding, or the complaint that I might have about men, or how they think different and they can't focus on this. All these things I hear, women say, and that is repellent if you are a woman that desires to be in divine partnership with a man, a male.
That's so true. Let me just take a moment to that's beautiful. Let me just take a moment to let everybody know that if you've just tuned in, this is Compassionate World Radio on Power Me Up Radio, Talk 24/7, the station with heart on iHeart. And I am your host, Barbara Wilder, and I'm talking today with my guest, Krimah Reignmaker Stewart. Great. Let's go.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that you talked about is how, go back to where you were. You were doing, I want to know about that calling forth that divine masculine.
Yeah, it's not the contempt and the energetic coding that we have about men. It's not, and we desire to be in covenant partnership or in some type of romantic relationship with a man. It's not serving us to hold them in contempt for how they think, how they see the world. Like if we wanted them to be just like us, then we need to go date people who are just like us. And don't date a man, right? And if you're going to date a man, be clear about the energy that you're putting out. Where can you find points of appreciation? Where can you really soften your heart and have compassion? Where is there an opportunity for you to open your heart to forgiveness, not just lip service to forgiveness, like, oh, I forgive him. No, when that person walks into the room, do you have any type of bodily reaction to them, to their presence? When that person's name comes up in conversation, do you feel sweat coming on? Do you tighten your fist? Do you have a response or reaction in your body that makes you contract versus expand? True forgiveness clears that field. So that's one thing that I also work on, is I work with women around deep forgiveness work, not just the surface level, I forgive this person, but really deep work. And it calls for deep compassion, not only for them, but for yourself.
Yes. That's exactly what we're talking about here on Compassionate World Radio. That is so absolutely perfect. This self-compassion helps us have compassion for others.
Right. But if we even look, and I'm a big etymology type person, but it's like, if we even just look at the basics of compassion, right?
Right.
Is like community. It's like a bringing together, and like the passion is like the love. So it's just like, we love to be in community. So in order to be in community and love being in in community, there has to be compassion, right? And so like, let's just look at the basics of that word, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you talked also about actually calling, about really seeing the man and then calling forth from that man or men around.
Yeah. But it's really more about being a feminine invitation. You know, I tell like, you know, clients that I've coached and I've said, you know, use everything that you have and everything that you are to be a feminine invitation to love. If that's what you really desire, you know, and when you are a receptive, a magnetic, attractive vibe for love, love comes to you in all forms, including through the divine masculine. But it takes us being a fertile, willing, open vessel to birth that kind of love in the world.
That's
so
beautiful.
Yeah.
Right after we first talked a few days ago, and you told me about this mining, you know, this gathering it up, this divine masculine. Right after we got off of our call, I went to Trader Joe's and to the store, and I parked in the back, and the ground is all bumpy, and I had when I brought my basket out, I had 2 big bags, and I was trying to put them in the car and hold on to the basket because it was going down a little slope, and I was trying, and I was struggling. And right across the alley, the very narrow alley, were like 6 guys just sitting there, and they weren't paying any attention to me. And I'm thinking, God, you know, should I ask them for help or something? And then and I was really struggling, and the cart was rolling down the hill. I was grabbing it. And I had grabbing the bag of groceries, and all of a sudden I remember what you said. You said, "Mine the divine masculine." So I went, "Divine masculine, help me, please, with my basket." And suddenly, like almost, there was one of the guys was right there at my side, taking the basket and saying, "Let me help you." And I watched that happen. And I said, Krimah has some real good stuff going.
Yeah. And, you know, and if I was a listener, I might be saying, well, what about the divine feminine? And to that, I say the divine feminine has her place as well in, you know, supporting us on this journey. But we're specifically talking about the divine masculine because the divine masculine doesn't get a lot of airtime. I hear so much about the divine feminine, or divine feminine is rising. And honestly, divine feminine never went to sleep. Divine feminine has always been here. She's always been powerful, you know? And so it's time to just let her walk the face of the earth and in us, embodied in us. Right. So, but the divine masculine is not talked about nearly enough. And the beauty of the divine masculine and the wonder and the divine masculine is just so fascinating. And it's through our ability to be receptive to that fascination and receptive to that wonder that makes us more attractive to the divine masculine, whether from a relational standpoint or just in general. Right. And so I've personally seen the change in myself and my even, you know, compassion for my father, who has his own, you know, struggles and different things like that, and how our relationship has shifted and transformed, and how it's much more beautiful than it's ever been. And it's also because I have more compassion. And I'm very clear about what works for me, what doesn't work for me. I have a very strong throat chakra. And so I'm able to be in communion with my father, with all the things that he brings. He's 77, and with his life experience and growing up in Louisiana in the 40s, and just like the things he's seen in this country as a Black man moving through the world. But really tapping into the divine masculine of my own dad and growing my appreciation for the resilience that he has mustered.
That's lovely. And I know a lot of people will be thinking, well, yeah, but there's, there's men that are doing a lot of bad things. And you're not saying, of course, we know that. We're denying that. We're not, I hear that you're not at all saying that we'll just forgive you and you can just go on doing the thing.
But we attribute that those bad things to a particular gender.
Right.
When it's not about the gender, it's about that individual person not showing up in their most divine light. But we make it about the whole dang gender. It's like, and we do the same thing with women.
Right.
And it's time for us to put down the weapon.
Yes.
Of mass destruction.
That's all, and exactly. That's a beautiful way to bring up the whole discussion to a beautiful ending, because we're coming right here to the end of our talk together today. I'm so excited to be able to talk with you about this and really reconnect with you too, Krimah, because it's always a joy. Do you have any tip you can give, or piece of wisdom that you want other than all that you've shared to our listeners before we?
Well, I would say to mind for the myths regarding the masculine. Mind for the myths that you have regarding the masculine, because when you start to excavate and dig up, because I didn't think I was a woman that had quote unquote contempt for the masculine, but it's all the little ways that kind of chip away at your respect for the masculine. It's the little side comments, it's the little jokes you have with your girlfriend about, how men are, and just where are we holding men hostage? Where are we holding the divine masculine at arm's length? Beautiful. And at the same time saying we want to be in divine partnership. You can't have that which you speak against, right?
Right.
So I would just say that, mind for the myths, and then mind for the beauty of the divine masculine in your day-to-day life.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much. Now, where can people learn more about you, connect with you?
Yeah, I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram at Krimah_Reign, REIGN. I'm also at Krimah Reignmaker Stewart on Facebook. And so I can definitely be reached via those platforms.
Beautiful. Thank you again so much. And thank all of you out in Radio Land for being with me here on Power Me Up Radio Talk 24/7, the station with heart on iHeart. If you'd like to learn more about me and my work, just go to barbarawilder.com, and I'll see you next time, and have a compassionate day.